from ground zero. Let's not forget them. I'm an intellectual, so let's say from my observation what happened was we had an $18 trillion surplus right before President Bush stole the election from Al Gore, using the judiciary to steal a popular election and give it to the party that bought it. His daddy was the president of the CIA, then he was the president, and then somehow they got back and they stole it. And what I can figure is the $18 trillion was a way, we needed to start a war, and somewhere around 1999 they had a paper from Rumsfeld and Cheney saying that we needed another Pearl Harbor, an event to galvanize the United States so that we would give up our civil rights because of fear, and we would trade security for freedom. And that was one. The second thing is that they needed to radically change the military, and they did that. The third reason was more Machiavellian. It was a way to legally funnel off $18 trillion into a war and more reconstruction. And then, once they were in trouble, to keep borrowing and borrow another $18 trillion. The gentleman before said we had lost $2 billion. From my calculation, they've ripped us off for about $50 trillion. And that was our children's heritage. My kid's heritage, your kid's heritage. I can say that. That's BS. I'm the son of a Cuban immigrant. My dad was sent by my grandfather before the revolution because my grandfather didn't want him fighting in that and got him the hell out of Cuba and shipped him to New York at 14. At the age of 14, he was on his streets on his own, had his own apartment, did his own work at 14. My dad never graduated high school, yet he made sure that all his sons went to school. Thank you, Daddy. Okay? He worked his ass off, just like the gentleman said. Saw my dad sweating so that his sons could go to school. Okay? So, let me give some information back. The scenario is with this raping of the land. Right now we're in a situation where we're at. Einstein said that the revolutions of the future could only be fought through nonviolent means. The day we lift the hands to beat them, they'll kick our ass and they're ready for us. If you remember India, how India got liberated, there was a line of Indians nonviolently going up to British cannon fire, and they would shoot them one by one, men, women, and children, and the next one would drop, and the next one would drop, and there'd be a fucking pile this big, and the British soldiers were crying because of what they had to do. Go read history. If you don't read history, you're damned. You're gonna repeat it, damn it. Wake up, okay? I'm here, my death threat was because I've been involved with a lot of weird shit all my life. Like I said, I have 2 animal hospitals in town, Animal Hospital Baldwin Park and Lake Mary. And I met a Russian-French physicist about 2 years ago. And he came to my office, and he had been working with a cure for cancer. And it works, according to him. And I said, dude, nobody has a cure for cancer. I said, I can guarantee it, doctor, just listen. And he says, I've talked to 50 veterinarians, and I don't know how many doctors, and they're giving me the runaround. And I'm just here for a health certificate. And I go, sure, dude, what you got? I said, doc, if it does 10% of what you do, what it says it does, I'll get one. I did. I've been working with it for 2 years. I'm now a clinical researcher and in charge of clinical research for oncology using molecular hyperthermia for the United States. And this is what I have to say. I've gone in front of doctors who I've shown my data for. I've shown them a tumor, an osteosarcoma of the head falling off in my hand. I've showed them paralyzed dogs moving within 7 minutes and repeated over 20, 30 times. I have video of all this. I'm not making this shit up. I'm here in front of you. Look at my face. Okay? And these sons of bitches have told me, Doc, why would I buy that $50,000 piece of shit when it's going to put my $5 million proton accelerator, it's going to make it obsolete. I won't be able to pay back my investment. Right. Did you hear that? Right. And I looked at him and I said, they're children and you're burning them. Right. It's my grandmother, it's my mother, you son of a bitch, that died of lymphoma and of the complications of the disease. They said, Doc, please don't let this get out till I retire. And I go, really? You're going to retire while they're dying? And you're burning them. So this is not just about Occupy Wall Street. And here's another thing. As far as the intellect goes, I warn you the following. I warn you. Go back and look at the latest data coming back from the Mayan fall. What happened to the Mayan Empire? It's really similar to what's going on with us right now. Here's the scenario. from what they're picking up was, they didn't know why they disappeared into the jungle. This is what happened. They were in the jungle, and these guys were starting to run out of food and resources because they grew too fast in the jungle. And then what happened was, they started sacrificing to the gods, another sacrifice and another sacrifice, and finally people got tired of praying to the gods and giving up their kids and a big bloodbath for crops that weren't coming because they didn't know how to rotate and they had outgrown their city-state. So they got mad. And everybody went to revolution. And you know what they did? They did a violent revolution, and they killed all the kings and all the priestcraft. They cut their heads off. They were done. But the people had become dependent on the system, and they knew how to run it. And the moment that they killed the intellect, the whole thing went to crap and they went back to the jungle. So my warning is this: as we take over Wall Street, let's convince them to work with us and to change the rules so that everybody eats.
Yeah.
One reason is, otherwise we're killing ourselves. We become, I mean, for God's sakes, where's my cell phone? I can't live without it. Are you following me? We have scenarios where we can live in symbiosis with this. It's about realigning. Maybe not destroying Wall Street, because honestly, parts of the system work. Parts of the system suck. Those are the ones we need to work on. Are you following me? As far as medicine goes, A, it's hypocrisy. B, I can tell you, my God, look, I'll spill the beans. Chemotherapy in a dog. Let's talk about that. A specialist charges maybe $900 a dose. It cost me $45 a bottle. You get the picture? The numbers are incredible. Vitamin shot, 25 cents a dose, 50 bucks. Antibiotic, you know, may the list go on and on and on. They're raping you. And not all of them are. Every city has a nut like me who doesn't give a shit about death threats and just tired of sitting in my office, and they tell me, let them go and protest. Why? They're cannon fodder. And I say, well, stick me in the fucking cannon. So, I apologize. Everybody said I have a mouth and my language, maybe I need better language. I'm the son of an immigrant spick. But I'm here because I believe in this country. I believe in this country, and I'm fucking apple pie. And I don't want these guys to rape. Look, when I left and when I finished my studies, I went and I ended up in the Midwest with all these good old boys. And at first they didn't know. They go, we don't want to see that Cuban. What's a Cuban look like? And so my boss would send me to these farms with, you know, the salt of the earth, farmers. The farmers, the people that are feeding you. Most people here don't know where their food comes from. I was helping put that food on the table. I'm one of the veterinarians that put antibiotics in those cows and steroids and everything else. You know why? We didn't know any better. And as you learn, then you go, whoa, this isn't good, dude. We have to change this shit. And then everybody started to change, but the other ones didn't because it was good for business. And we said, dude, that's not right. You need to switch. And they wouldn't because it was about the money, but some did. In every city, there's one that says no. You know this whole thing about vaccines? My God. I was the first vet in town, I think it was back 15 years we switched. I remember going the first time they talked about the vaccine controversy. I was in the room when they announced it here at the medical convention. There was about 5,000 veterinarians and doctors in that room. And this one very brave woman, Alice Wolf, stood up and said, dude, this is wrong. We're poisoning these animals with what they're doing. And I thought they were going to lynch her. And I didn't understand. And I started to study it. For that next year, I tried to rechange how I was doing it. And in town, I was known as the quack. And now the protocols have changed, and they're doing what the quack started doing 15 years ago. And now I'm shifting. Here's the school. It basically, as far as vaccines goes, maybe when they're babies, do it when they're babies, add a year to boost it, and they're probably good for life. Some bell-shaped curves say some animals out at 3 years for certain vaccines, so maybe to play it safe, do it at 3 and maybe never again after they pass a certain age if you want to, if you're in a high-risk area. Otherwise, no, guys, you're poisoning them. There's no need. We should really be focusing on human health care. I have clients that come to my office crying because they don't think they've done enough for their patient. And this is after I've done everything. I mean, trust me, I do everything I can. And sometimes you can't pull it off, and she's blaming herself, hitting herself in the heart. Oh my God, if I would have done better, I would have done better. And I go, baby, 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 baby. I used to work for, I used to be involved in some humanitarian things in Mexico and Dominican Republic, and in Sir Walter Reed Hospital in Dominican Republic, about 25 years ago, I had a lineup of what we now know was AIDS and babies with hepatitis B, and in the middle of that room there was a bowl of used syringes, and we would wash them over and over again because we didn't have anything else. And these were babies, and we had no choice, and they were dull. It would suck having to give these kids a shot because the freaking needles were dull. And I look at her and I open up my drawer as a vet and I throw out these needles that are brand new, Monojack, beautiful. And I go, your dog has received better health care than most people get in the world, including now in the United States, because this is the third world. According to Zeitgeist, that's what they wanted to do, level the playing field so that the banks, we have one big bank. The rest is a show. We don't vote anymore for the power. The judiciary seems to take it when they want to. They say the definition of an oligarchy is when the rich control the media and they let you hear whatever they want you to hear and move you like sheep. That's basically an oligarchy. As far as I'm concerned, that's what I'm living in. I'm a pissed off doctor. Oh, by the way, whoever's here, if they find me dead and I committed suicide, bullshit, I love life. If you find me with a bottle of kiddie porn and a bunch of heroin or cocaine next to me, no sir, I don't indulge. That's not my drug of choice. So bottom line is, I've seen that happen before. And that's why I've always kept my mouth shut. Guys like me, you get a pop in the head, it shows up in the news that that guy had a bag of heroin and a bunch of kiddie porn, and then everybody discredits him because they mix the truth with the lies. And once you've mixed the truth with the lies, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I say to you, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We have to be wise here. You can't throw the whole thing out, guys. We have to symbiote. The deal is, I have an idea. The scenario is, Wall Street can't work without people working. What if Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street, decides on the same day, for just one day, that everybody doesn't go to work? Just for one day, I won't go to work, I swear. And you know, maybe we'll do it again for another day. And we'll call it, and wait a minute, we can't call it a strike because I'm doing it for spiritual reasons. I'm going to stay home at work because since I don't have the free rights anymore, that many, I think I still have freedom of religion. So I'm going to choose to non-violently sit in my own home and pray for those in Wall Street. I'm going to say to them, Shalom. I'm going to tell them, you know what? My peace be with you. I'm going to tell them, Assalamu alaikum. It was great. I was on a plane the other day. A Cuban, a German, a Brit, loaded on the plane by a Muslim security guard. They're going, love it. This is a great joke. Anyways, the biggest joke is what they've done to us. And bottom line is, if I show up in a box, I don't like kiddie porn, and I'm here for you. Are you following? Don't let them mix the truth with lies.
Just a reminder, we're going to have the General